Good evening. Welcome to the Sinking City. We're going to start with case 1, titled Frosty. Welcome. So a little bit about this. This is a survival horror game from, actually I don't even know who makes it, if we're being really honest. However, it is based on the horror of H.P. Lovecraft, who apparently is like this really cool horror genre writer. There is fun. You learn something new every day. Alright, so as you can see, I've already been playing. I haven't gotten very far because I'm not very good at it, if we're being really honest. So I figure what I'll do is I will just go in here and I'll start off brand new and we'll work through it together and see what you guys think. So without further ado, we'll just start growing up. Well, you know what? Doesn't matter. Sounds great. Dear Mr. Charles Reed, in case you can't read, I'm going to go ahead and do this for you. As you requested, I've researched the outbursts of hysteria and visions in the city of Oakmont, Massachusetts. That is not a real place, by the way. I Googled. It turns out that your assumptions were correct. Such cases are indeed more frequent here. Men and women from across the country are drawn to Oakmont, haunted by visions similar to yours, a city drowning, the presence of something great yet unknown. As luck has it, I believe we have stumbled upon the source of your ailment, and the person who might be able to help you with it. It doesn't say, actually I guess it does say that. Prepare yourself, then come to Oakmont as soon as you can. I will meet you there to help you on your way. Cordially, Johannes Vanderberg. So, apparently this guy is going to help us with whatever our problem is. The only problem is, I'm not entirely sure what our problem is. So, I guess we're about to find out. So apparently this is me. Actually, I already knew that this is me. But for those of you joining me for the first time, apparently this is me. And apparently I've got some kind of hallucinogenic something going on. Got some scars there. So I've lived a rough life. Lived a rough and tumble. Apparently I was in the Navy. Again, for those of you that don't know, the game's set in the 1920s. In a town in Massachusetts. That was Connor, by the way. I'm sure you guys will hear more from him as time goes on. He's a whopping 7 months old. He loves watching video games as well as everybody else, so you guys are just going to have to stick with it, or not stick with it. He wants to be part of the action so bad he can't hardly stand it. And Apparently, I'm about to jump off the boat. Into what? Yep, that looked like a mouth. And now I'm back in my bed. So, if you're confused, I feel safe in assuring you that you are not the only one that has no idea what's going on right now. Alright, I got a first aid kit and a brick. And apparently I'm on the Sharon ship. So let's go over here. It says I can do something. Got some gunpowder, some oil springs.
Hope I never have to use it, but something tells me I will.
Well, that's rather ominous. All right, so we already read that in the load screen, so I'm not even gonna fool with it. Okay, casebook options. Press to activate. Press for more information. Casebook. The casebook contains your main case, which reflects your overall story progress. You can work on more than one side case at a time. Cases contain information about investigations in the form of evidence. Some pieces of evidence have icons that hint at which action to perform. Dialogue, use an item, take a photo, search archives, or search location. Alright, I got a hand here. I got me a folding camera. I'm not sure what good a camera that folds, but look, there's the camera. So we'll put it on our camera here. Take a couple steps back because, you know, photography and stuff. Got me a little white line around the outline there. And we'll take a picture. Photo of trophy plate. I don't know if that's important. Yeah, we'll go over all that later.
Never trust a
I'm not trying
tourist
to read all that right this second. So apparently all of the evidence has been collected, which cool. So I guess I'll get off the ship now. Talk to this guy.
Now get out.
Apparently not. Not the friendliest guy. Press triangle to climb.
At last, Mr. Charles Reed. What a pleasure to finally meet you in the flesh.
Nice to meet you.
Johannes van der Berg, at your service. I did promise to meet you the moment you arrived.
Ah, much obliged, Mr. Vanderberg. I guess I didn't expect you to mean so literally.
Please call me Johannes. But where are my manners? Welcome to the proud city of Oakmont. Alas, now is not its finest hour, though it is its most important.
Alright, so what about my problem? What's the deal with this city? Or nice suit? You know what, I'm going to be friendly and cordial right off the bat.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. A mere flood is no excuse for one to abandon one's style.
I take it you're a big fan of yellow.
Well, I have a particular weakness for it. Call it a personal quirk.
Alright, so about my problem, and what's the deal with this city? So he said something about a flood.
Reaching Oakmont was no easy task. Most maps I found didn't mark it, and this rickety packet ship is the only one that sailed here. Why is that?
Oakmont is no ordinary place. Its unique geographical position and the flood, a recent natural disaster, make it nigh impossible to reach. But you made it, Mr. Reed. I'm sure the tides of fate would have brought you here one way or another.
And I guess about my problem should be next. No, let's ask more about the flood.
It began 6 months ago. Storms raged for several weeks, and the water has risen ever higher without us. Now the city is cut off from the north. I must say I rather like it, despite this atmosphere, you know?
And so we'll care about myself least and last.
The visions have been getting worse.
Such vividness of dream is not uncommon. By chance, the man I spoke of, Robert Throgmorton, is already at the door. He has dedicated a lot of time and effort to investigate this issue. Alas, I fear he has a more pressing matter on his hands.
Alright, so where is Robert Throgmorton?
How can I find Mr. Throgmorton?
Don't worry, you can't miss him. Throgmorton tends to stand out in the crowd.
Can you tell me a little about Mr. Throgmorton?
A remarkable creature, scion of a robust
Did you
bloodline,
say creature?
a philanthropist, a scholar, and the patron of the famous Oakmont University. A man of great ambitions and even greater ego. Do not make him wait.
I'll need a place to lay my head while I'm here. Any recommendations?
Fear not. I've already feathered a nest for you. There's a room in your name at the Devil's Reef Hotel. Here's the key.
Sounds charming.
Don't judge a book by its cover, Mr. Reed.
What's the best way to get around Oakmont? I'd like to drop my things at the hotel.
Most locals go by foot or by boat. I've got the latter sorted for you. There's one waiting outside the port.
You're too kind, Johannes. Can you steer me towards the Devil's Reef?
Take this map. I've marked the hotel and a few other key places.
Other places? Like what?
You're a private eye, yes? Well, I've highlighted the police station, city archive, newspaper, places you'll need to get to the truth. This city is insular, its ways mysterious. No one will take you by the hand, so you better know where to turn in search of a lead.
How do you fill your days, Mr. Vanderberg?
I host a philosophy club for the like-minded intelligentsia, gathering seeds of thought like moths drawn to a flame.
Does Oakmont really have much of a market for philosophy these days?
There is no consciousness without pain, Mr. Reed. No better moment for clarity than times of hardship.
Well, that's it for now, I think. Thanks for helping me get my bearings.
No. The pleasure was mine, Mr. Reed.
Oh, before you go, how can I get in touch with you later?
Don't worry about that. I'm the kind of man who finds you.
So I guess when you collect all the evidence, you get a green notification saying that you've collected it all. There we go. I've got to get up here. Mystery. Town arrives. Except it's simple.
I don't care about your petty excuses. No one leaves the port until my son is found, and that is final.
Excuse me. Are you Robert Throgmorton?
I am, but not interested. Go away.
The name's Charles Reed. I'm a private investigator, just arrived from Boston. I was told you might be able to help me.
Private investigator, you say? Well, perhaps we can help each other.
I'm just going to come out and ask him about the fact he looks like a monkey.
Please Please forgive the question, but I've never met a man quite like you before.
That's because no man measures up to the Throgmorton lineage. Proud and powerful blood flows through our veins. My father united with a certain royal family, which has blessed all our offspring with these exquisite features.
Yeah, exquisite. Sure. Sounds good.
I've heard you're the man to speak to about visions, outbreaks of hysteria. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it myself.
Another newcomer with another problem. Yes, I know what you speak of.
Can I ask you a few questions?
How dare you? My son Albert is missing, and no one in this Innsmouth-ridden city will do a damn thing. But yes, let's talk about your dreams.
If I may ask, what happened to your son?
Why do you care? What's your angle, outsider?
Well, like I said, I'm a PI. Finding people is kind of my specialty.
Is it? Well, Albert was part of a deep-sea expedition I commissioned. This useless fool over here says he found Albert washed ashore in a lifeboat. Says he was barely conscious, out of his mind, talking gibberish in some other language. That he even tried to bite him.
And you don't believe him?
Complete malarkey. I know my Albert. I raised him strong and smart, the best of his kind. It couldn't have been him. Albert's disappearance is the work of Innsmouthers. Mark my words.
I take it you're not the biggest fan of these Innsmouthers.
Those fish-faced freaks have overrun this city since the police burned Innsmouth to the ground. But now, those filthy migrants occupy half this damn city. The port, Grimhaven Bay, Salvation Harbor, the shells. They are everywhere.
So they're just refugees.
Hardly. They've taken work from the local fishermen. They stir and agitate against us, the Throgmorton family. We are the pillar of this community, not to mention that crime rates have skyrocketed. Simply speaking, they are a big stinking pile of trouble.
Mr. Throgmorton, let me help you. I'm rather good at tracking down missing people. I'll find Albert.
What makes you think you can do it? Oakmont is not exactly friendly to new arrivals.
Let's just say I tend to see things that others miss. And anyway, what have you got to lose? Sounds like you could use every man you can get.
Vera. You have a point, newcomer.
Sorry, did you just say Vera? What does that mean?
You had better get used to the Oakmont dialect, outsider. That is, if you want to fit in. It is a fascinating blend. Vera means fine. I was saying, we have a deal.
I see. Thank you. I need to know more about what happened to Albert.
Dane, did you not listen at all? I already told you everything. After leaving on the expedition, Albert was found on the shore in a lifeboat. This fisherman supposedly brought him to the house, and then left to call me. But when I arrived here, my son was nowhere to be seen.
Anything else?
Clearly, something suspicious occurred inside the house. I suggest you stop dawdling and go see for yourself.
You mentioned a lifeboat. Is it still around?
Yes. Face the house, then to the left is a beach that borders a fence. You'll find it there.
Where's the house where this all happened?
For Kay's sake, I thought you were a private eye. We're standing right in front of it.
As much as I'm enjoying the weather, Mr. Throgmorton, it's time for me to get started.
Find my son, newcomer, and be quick about it.
More information. Evidence contains crucial information about what to do and where to go next. To get evidence, interact with objects and people. light frame in the camera viewfinder indicates if you are aiming correctly. Read evidence closely to identify important locations, and then pin it on the map to plan your route. Pin evidence on the heads-up display to keep track of your current goal. Press to toggle on and off. Hold to switch pinned evidence. You can also place evidence on the map and heads-up display from the casebook screen. Select evidence and use pin evidence place on the map. So if that is a fisherman's house, it's a lifeboat. Face the house. Left.
Where's your Oberon, huh, Titania? Something with this helmet gives me chills. What's wrong with it?
I've said everything I know.
Don't do anything stupid, newcomer. And keep your hands where I can see them.
Toggle flashlight.
It would take tremendous effort to move this thing, let alone tossing it over like this.
Let's see what you find, newcomer.
Okay, fair enough. I feel like maybe I should have started over here.
5 cards short of a full house. I'm surprised they don't have someone's portrait here.
Maybe they used to.
Seems like Prohibition hasn't affected Oakmont too much. So, that's what an Innsmouther looks like.
Glenna, Nehri, Glenna, Gebhal, Nugulina, Haftin.
How did they even subtitle that? Are those real words?
I can barely recognize the face of the poor fella. He was beaten to a pulp. Hello? Hey, can you hear me?
Oh, my head. What? Who are you? Are you police? I've already told them everything.
It's okay. I'm Charles Reed, Private Eye. Mr. Throgmorton hired me to find his son.
Oh, okay. What do you want?
I want to know what happened here. Every detail.
I don't remember much. Me, Paul, and Lewis. We were here. This is our house. Barry was outside, on his business. Then he came back carrying Throgmorton's son. He was unconscious, barely breathing. Barry left again to call Mr. Robert.
Then what?
We put the guy in Lewis's room. Then he started to make these horrible sounds and... okay, my head began to burst. And he woke up. And after that, I don't remember a thing. Just dreams. Drowned streets, a sleeping giant, a voice that called me...
That sounds familiar. Tell me about yourself.
Name's Will. Will Hammond. I'm a fisherman. We all are. Live here together. Me, poor fella Paul, Barry, and Innsmouther Lewis Flynn. We moved here after the flood. I worked on the railroad, but the rail ain't kicking anymore, so I started fishing. It was at or starve.
Where are all the other guys?
That's Paul there on the floor. Kay be with him. Barry's outside with Mr. Throgmorton. Lucky rascal missed everything. And I have no idea where Lewis or Throgmorton's son got to. Starting to suspect the worst.
Who is this Kay you keep mentioning?
Outsiders, show some respect. Kay is our lord, our light, our love.
Sorry, I didn't know.
So Kay is God, and Vera is fine.
Do you know how Paul died?
I don't know. When I pulled myself together, he was already gone. Kay, have mercy on his soul.
I'll leave you to it. Take care of yourself, Will.
Please, detective, sir, tell me the truth. Could it be me? Did I kill Paul? Or, Kay, did I kill him?
I don't know yet, Will. The police will stop anyone coming in or out of here, so I suggest you just try and get some rest.
I'm afraid of what I might dream.
Retrocognition allows you to understand events that happened in the past. Inspect enough evidence on the scene and a vision will emerge. Step into it and find all the critical scenes. Mark the scenes in chronological order to gain new evidence.
What's happening?
Alright, so it looks like old dude levitated, freaked out, woke up, ran out here.
Take this, ape face.
That dude shot him.
Yeah, run!
Okay, let's see what we have here.
Wakes up,
What's happening?
runs out here, hits Paul the bear, looks like he gets shot,
Take this, ape face.
and
Yeah, run!
When Albert Throgmorton woke up, he was not himself. He attacked the fishermen, and his hysteria spread to them. When he got wounded, he fled.
Mind Palace. Investigation of the main case reveals clues for your Mind Palace. I still can't get over the fact they call it a Mind Palace. I just don't. Okay. Press to open the casebook, then switch to Mind Palace. Combine pairs of relevant clues to get evidence. Crucial information for the case. That's added to the casebook. Deductions. These explain nuances of the case. They are displayed in the Mind Palace. Some deductions can be interpreted differently. This can lead to different conclusions. Discover all possible conclusions to fully understand the case, but it is up to you how to solve it. Okay. So, wrong button. Options. Alright, casebook, house brawl. We heard Will Hammond's testimony. That's the hotel room key. Okay. Took a photo of that thing. There's Throgmorton's will, which leads me to believe that dude may.
There was a fierce fight here, but someone tried to flee.
Okay. So, wait, do I have all the evidence? No, it appears as if though I'm missing evidence. So, maybe if I go back downstairs.
Huh. This dog mat looks better than the owner's bed.
Not sure how that's going to be helpful, but okay. Some stuff to make some stuff better.
The book is damp and damaged, but clearly well cared for.
Mind Palace again. No, I guess it's the same. Okay. I'm saying I got Mind Palace stuff, but I don't think I do. Looks the same to me. There's that. Is there something in here? I don't have a reflection. Maybe I'm a
Choo choo. Ahem. Seems like Prohibition hasn't affected Oakmont too much. Never seen knives like this before. Masterful work.
Okay, so all of my evidence is collected. Let's maybe jump down there. Yeah. attack the fisherman. Okay, that makes sense. It's dangerous. Gotcha. Clues. Oh, okay, so you put two together, and then you get a deduction. Okay, so I'm picking up what they're putting down. So I can use this one again. Apparently that is not right. Also not right. Aha. I can track them using my supernatural sense. Alright. So Albert fled when wounded. Follow the omens. Mind's eye can reveal omens that guide your way. Follow them to find new evidence. Okay. Whoa! Go down.
The door won't budge. So the fisherman pursued Albert, even let off a few shots. There's something in the pocket. The blood is fresh. Whomever it belongs to could not have got far.
Alright, y'all heard that, right? There's more blood. I low-key don't even want to go in there right now. Okay, so that was pointless. Padlocks. Padlocks and weak planks can be broken with a shot or a melee attack. Oh, I can switch to a gun. Cool. The more you know, right? Whoa. What is that? I don't like it. Guess I'm gonna have to kill it. Okay.
One fatal round through the forehead. That's no accident. This was deliberate.
It kind of looks like a monkey. I'm thinking this is probably the sun. Yeah. Yeah. That's not good. However, I have a feeling. Yeah. So he's probably hiding out somewhere. But because he said Lewis, the note that I found said that he was going to be importing some alcohol, I guess, from the right people. I bet you he's at that little bar. I hear that. What's that? Is that thing dead? Heck out of Dodge here. So, what that thing was. I don't see anymore. Ow.
Oh, yeah. Hey, got a spare bullet, fella? I ain't eaten in days.
You look familiar, but old Billy hasn't seen you around.
Stay alert! Monsters lurk underground. They're everywhere.
Ugh, I'll miss the carpenter's food giveaway with this darn port closure.
Welcome to Under the Keel. What do you want?
I'm looking for a man by the name of Lewis Flynn. Any chance he's here?
Yeah. Even if I knew, I don't rat to newcomers.
It's fair enough. But it seems like to me he may be extorting you by the smuggling of booze. So if you
As it happens, I know you owe a debt to Mr. Flynn. Trouble is, I found your note near the dead body of Albert Throgmorton, son of Robert. So, it seems Lewis is in trouble. Might have even come here to hide. But you hand him over and he won't be back to collect what you owe. Get me?
Throck. That would explain the blood. Fine. If it gets me out of this mess, you can have him.
So?
He's upstairs. Here's the key. You gotta promise to deal with him, once and for all. But save the shooting for outside, huh?
Smart man. There's your good deed for the day. I've seen some unsettling creatures around. Like nothing I've ever encountered. What are they?
So you met a wild beast, newcomer. No one knows what they are, but consider yourself lucky to still be in one piece. They arrived in the flood. Some say they come from the sea. Others that they are Kay's punishment for us.
And what do you say?
If it bleeds, you can kill it. Keep your gun handy. And if you want to erase the memory, I sell a perfect cure right here. Remember, better to be a coward and live than brave and dead. Unless you're a newcomer.
Bye.
He doesn't seem very friendly, does he?
Come closer, troubled soul. Let me tell you what your future holds.
You're some kind of, fortune teller?
Yes, my dear, yes. Oh, it's so clear. Your path holds many surprises, newcomer.
Seems a little generic, don't you think?
I see many things, boy, and I will tell you them in detail for a small fee.
All right, how much? $1?
Your money has no value here, newcomer. After the flood, Oakmonters deal in the practical. Booze, smokes, and bullets. And I'll make it easier for you. I don't smoke.
Oh, so that's why the guy outside asked for a bullet, because he hasn't eaten. Bullets are now money. I don't think I'm
Some other time. Maybe.
As you wish.
probably gonna want those if I see any more of those weird looking things. Whatever wild beasts.
What the? Get the... Oh.
Hey, who are you? What are you doing?
Charles Reed, private investigator. Mr. Throgmorton hired me to find his son Albert, so I think you know why I'm here.
Ugh. That darn bartender. It was all that crazy ape's fault. You hear me?
Calm down. I only want to speak, for now. But no, if you reach for your gun, you'll hit the floor faster than you can say poetic justice.
I got nothing to hide.
You shot to kill. No warning, no second chances. You pursued Albert even after he fled. Why?
Well, I can't remember it. When he woke, it was like a bloody mist descended over me. First thing I recall after is that darn warehouse and me covered in blood. I had no idea what happened, though. I suspected it had something to do with that ape. Turns out, I was right.
Start at the beginning. What happened?
We were in our house, me, Paul, and Will. Barry'd gone to the sea. Though I told him that it would only bring bad luck. If he'd listened to me, we'd all still be alive.
Come on, Lewis. Focus.
Right. Well, Barry dragged that damn ape to our house. He was bragging about how much Mr. Throgmorton would give us for saving his son. But that ape, he was out cold. Then woke in an instant and started screaming, attacking us. After that, can't remember a thing.
The things you did to Albert don't look like a bloody rage. A fatal shot to the head, a hidden body. One might start to wonder if it was deliberate.
I don't know what to say. I wasn't myself.
I hear there's a bit of a feud between the Innsmouthers and the Throgmortons. Care to fill me in?
Those apes hated us from the moment we arrived in Oakmont. Our home was destroyed. We just needed a place to stay. The Blackwood Grand family sheltered us, but others were not as hospitable. We needed jobs, food, and medicine. The city denied it all.
And so?
We had to fight for every crumb of bread. And those Throgmortons in their high castle only made our life harder, always conspiring behind our backs, always setting people against us. I'd love to see them suffer like we suffered.
Okay, so what is a grand family?
You mentioned a grand family. What do you mean?
So you're a newcomer, huh? Explains a lot.
Yeah, a newcomer with a gun. Answer the question.
Okay. People here are crazy about bloodlines and tradition and reputation. The head honchos of Oakmont are called the Grand Families. There's the Carpenters, who control most of the city's underworld, the Blackwoods, who share kin with Innsmouthers through the Marsh family.
And let me guess, the Throgmortons.
Right, those filthy apes. Now that most of the Blackwoods are gone, there's nobody left to protect us Innsmouthers.
What kind of... why do you... your face, it's,
Oh, so you're here to attack me just because I look different to you? Wanna spit on me, whisper to your friends? What's new?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't know how to ask. I've just never met someone like you before. I didn't mean any offense.
Innsmouthers' bodies were blessed by the She. You're gonna see a lot of us here, so you better get over it. We are proud of who we are.
I think I've got all I need.
Please, Mr. Reed, don't tell Throgmorton about me. I know I'm in no position to ask. I didn't want to do whatever it is I did. Honest, have mercy, please. I have a family. Without me, they'll starve.
I'll think about it, but you did.
This is not exactly cut and dry. I need some time to think.
Perhaps I can offer something to grease your grinds. I still have a few bullets on me.
Do you now? Okay.
It turns out I arrived here unprepared for business. You give me a little something to get started, and my lips are sealed.
I knew you'd understand. Here you are, Mr. Reed.
We got 4. Alright. And all evidence collected. Let's go. That's his testimony, which we all just heard. So, Albert was murdered because he was affected. But I have a hard time believing that he didn't know what he was doing. Because not only did he kill him, he hid it. And that's
What's your problem?
I'm sorry. I'm just not very good at running. Oh boy.
Mr. Throgmorton, I'm afraid I have bad news.
No.
Yeah, I found your son in the basement of a nearby warehouse. I'm sorry, but he was murdered. Shot in the head and the body hidden.
No. It cannot be true. No, no, no. I don't believe it. No.
I've tracked down your son's murderer.
Where? Who is he?
So should I tell him that I killed him and he will stay alive? Or should I tell him he's at a bar and then he's gonna go kill him? You know what?
Just as I suspected, the Innsmouther Lewis is responsible for your son's murder. He's hiding at the local bar. Just ask the bartender. Seems like he had a bone to pick with your family and took it out on Albert.
Oh, that scum won't be getting off easy. The whole city shall see what happens when you cross the Throgmortons. Justice, bittersweet as it is, shall be served. It's rare for a newcomer to make himself so useful. Thank you.
Mr. Throgmorton, I hate to press you, but do you think you could help me now?
Yes, you've earned it. Kay, to think a newcomer barely off the boat solves a crime the police couldn't, but I digress. Remind me, what brought you to Oakmont?
I think I'm going mad, Mr. Throgmorton. I see things, visions, and I needed to stop. I was drawn here, or guided, or I don't know. But I believe the source of this madness is here, in Oakmont.
You're not wrong, Mr. Reed. An inexplicable hysteria spread through Oakmont after the flood. I funded an expedition to explore recent geological activity that may be responsible.
A geological expedition? I'm not sure I follow.
I have reason to believe the flood and this madness have the same source. As above, so below. So I sent men to find out.
Do these cases of hysteria involve shared visions as well?
Since the flood, many Oakmonters have had similar nightmares. Indeed, Professor Doe, the expedition leader, complained of them herself.
Waterlogged ruins with unnatural architecture. A sleeping giant, drowned streets, and a voice calling from the depths.
Her words exactly. She proposed the expedition, desperately wanting to find the cause.
You mentioned the flood. You think it's more than just a natural disaster.
You weren't here, Mr. Reed. What happened defied scientific explanation.
Has your expedition found anything?
I do not know. Albert was part of it. His passing cannot be coincidence. Why was he alone at the port? And where are the others?
You think your son was killed because the expedition uncovered something?
Is it so hard to believe? I had no news for a week, then Albert, the only one I could trust, comes ashore and is killed.
It does sound suspicious.
Mr. Reed, I want you to find out what's going on. I expect you're as interested in the expedition's results as I am.
If I'm going to look into this, I'll need to know more. Where should I start?
I'll give you the address of the expedition's headquarters and a key.
That's all you can tell me?
Let me be clear, Reed. You Do not speak to me like that again.
I'm sorry, Mr. Throckmorton. I just meant the more I know, the better.
I am a busy man. I funded the research, but left all preparations to Professor Doe and Albert. When you've finished, come see me at the Throgmorton family manor. It's in Old Grove. Here, I'll show you.
What about my expenses?
They will be reimbursed after you complete your task. And of course, you've earned some compensation for your work here at the port. I'll also include a fair advance in bullets.
Bullets?
The dollar lost its use here, Mr. Reed. After the flood, Oakmont returned to bartering. Bullets mean more than bills.
Since we have completed our first case, we're going to go ahead and call this a wrap for today. I want to thank everybody for stopping by and checking it out. I will hopefully have a new episode for you as soon as possible. I look forward to finding out what's going on in this dadgum city, because I'm confused. I'm not even going to lie to you. So, without further ado, again, I appreciate y'all watching. See you next time.